let me open up these. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna screen share. I'm gonna open up these Slippy things. How do I do it? Can I just drag them into Slippy? Okay, give me a preview. Give me your preview.
Game one is, I would say, quite boring, but I think it shows my inability to play neutral. And game two is a bit more interactive.
What do you mean by interactive? Like, what do you think interactive means?
We're both like just doing more stuff. Game one is really me just like whiffing a lot of neutral and my opponent whiff punishing me and me not being able to figure out what to do about that.
Does this guy beat you 2-0? Is that what happens here?
Oh yeah, easily.
Easily. Wait, no, I wanted a set that was closer. I wanted a set where you felt like you could have beaten this guy, not someone who's way above your level.
I mean, I think that I could beat this guy. I don't think this guy is way above my level. But
okay,
game
perfect.
one, he almost four stocks me. So.
Perfect. And yeah, what's the tag of your opponent?
Clavin.
What is his name?
Claavin.
Clavin.
That's correct. Yes.
Wow, that's a crazy name. It's like Kevin, but hard to pronounce. All right, here we go. Okay. Okay. You, he's hitting you pretty hard. Ooh, he could have probably killed you right there.
Yeah, it's, does not go well.
Yeah. It is tough to, like, just, okay, so 2 big openings he's gotten in the first, like, you know, 30 seconds. Not 30 seconds, 45 seconds, whatever. Like, if you watch how you keep taking the bulk of your damage is you eventually, like, you're playing neutral, you kind of get fed up and you do, like, an aerial forward that's really easy to whiff punish. So if you kind of watch, like, what's going on here, you do this knee, you kind of get caught in your movement, you miss your dash and all this stuff.
Well, at the very beginning, I did a knee that was out of range. He ran up to grab, and then I whiff punished him.
Yes.
And so sometimes I'm kind of doing them as a bait, but other times...
But only sometimes, right?
Yeah.
There was a nair I really didn't like, too. So that one right there, you see that drill? He could have gotten a lot more damage off of that. And that exact nair forward that you do, that feels like... So this nair is really bad against Fox. I think it's okay in some matchups, but... Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of expecting him to come back and approach me. And so I'm doing a nair where I think his jump is going to be. But, you know, my opponent's playing pretty safe. It's not going to work. What can I do instead? How do I get closer to my opponent without, you know, leaving myself vulnerable?
So, okay, let's talk about, like, what can happen here. So the thing about... Yeah, so you're asking the right question. How do I get close to my opponent? So the first answer that, you know, that people don't like to hear is that, like, this player is probably not as campy as you think they are. And, you know...
I've played campier players, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, like, he will get impatient just like the rest of them, right? And, like, you're doing a lot of nairs for they're all, like, here's one, this gets punished, and you do another one, and this gets punished. So it's like, you're getting whiff punished. So even before we start that conversation... Like, at this point in this match, you've gotten punished so hard for nairing forward 4 times. The first time, he kind of failed to convert off the drill, but we're 45 seconds into the match, not even 45 seconds, and you've gotten whiff punished for nairing forward in a big way 4 times. And Falcon is a character that ultimately, like, has such good aerial drift that, like, you really shouldn't be getting caught out like this. As much as I feel like you are. But okay, let's talk about theory. If you want to take this to that degree, I mean, okay, so here's the thing, right? You run faster than Fox, and like ultimately, like, have I ever showed you that clip of Mango where he dashes Zane into the corner like without ever throwing a move out? He literally just dash dances in front of Zane. Zane dashes back. He dash dances further. Zane dashes back. He dash dances further. Zane goes back, and he gets Zane in the corner without really ever throwing out a move. This is from the most recent tournaments that they played. It's Match Summit 11.
I've seen it, yeah.
Yeah, so you have a faster dash than Fox. Like, you actually can just dash dance while kind of encroaching space the whole time. And if you're ever on the ground, the thing is, like, you know, when Fox wants to commit, like, if he wants to nair forward or something like that, if you're reacting properly, you know, you can always kind of either dash dance it out, or you can do a retreating aerial. And what I don't see a lot from you are retreating aerials. So we're going to watch, just as we talk, I'm going to put this this first however long on again. And you really don't throw out a lot of retreating aerials. So, like, we're seeing this knee, you were advancing, and then you missed your dash. You know, okay, you're getting comboed here, so not much neutral going on. You actually get hit coming down with the nair. He actually really like that edge guard from him. I thought that was very good.
This is coaching for me, not for my opponent. You know,
That's true.
You
right
can
there.
catch up
Well,
with them later.
hey, you won neutral right there, by the way. Look at that. So you're here. You notice he's dash dancing, and you actually grab him out of his dash dance. Right? So it's like here, boom. And you actually get... what was he in the startup of? He was in the startup of something crazy right there. It looked like an up air or an up tilt. He was coming off the ground with something, yeah. Maybe just short hopping. So you get that. Advancing aerial. Advancing aerial. Advancing aerial. Right?
Yeah.
And if you watch, like, I mean, I think...
But he's not approaching, like... Why would I do a retreating aerial?
So you don't need... Right. So there's a way to do a retreating aerial that I kind of want to show you. Maybe I should boot up... It's going to be annoying for me to boot up... Can I boot up melee while having a Slippy replay open?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing a lot of these, right? You're doing a lot of these. You're going like... You're here, and you're going either slight drift forward, or you're like... That was a knee, but... Coming all the way forward, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
Mostly all the way forward.
So you can go like... You'll see a lot of them... You can do like that. So you come forward with the nair, and you see I'm actually holding back at the end here, where I'm going like... That was even a backer that I didn't mean to do. But you can do these, where you're kind of like, as soon... Can I turn my inputs? No, I didn't know move knuckle punch, and I'm too lazy, but what I'm basically doing is, as soon as I do my nair... And you can mix these in, you know, you can do like this and then overshoot, right? This is actually the classic Mango option. One of the things that Mango, if you watch Mango, he doesn't do it with Falcon. I mean, he does it with Falcon too, but obviously most Mango footage will with Spaceys. But he'll do like retreating aerial, overshoot aerial often. So he'll throw out one aerial at a spacing where he knows his opponent isn't positioned to whip punish it, but it gets the thought in their head of like, I want to get closer and like be able to punish this. And he'll do like, with like, if you can imagine with like Falco, he'll do like a drift back dare where he does like a dare in place and then he goes like super in. So you can do that. You can do like retreating aerial. So I don't mean retreating. You see how I'm not actually giving up space? You see where I'm dash dancing? That was a retreating area, but look where I started, look where I ended up. I'm getting back here because I'm trying to so overemphasize it. But see, I didn't actually give up any space. I'm literally like... Falcon's drift is so good that the difference between... I'm literally coming forward when I start the nair, but the difference in where I land if I hold back as soon as I leave the ground versus if I hold forward on... I can't demonstrate anything. Right? It's huge, right? You can literally not come forward at all and just kind of hold your ground. Or you can come all the way forward. And they can't position to really cover both of these with just their dash dance. So you'll see the good Falcons do this a lot. I actually do this too much. I got none coaching this week for Falcon specifically, and he was telling me if anything I nair too much, and I do this a lot. You'll see Wizzy do like a lot of these, and then he'll go for the he'll do this, and then he kind of senses the opponent is looking for a whiff punish, so he'll go like this, and then they run in to grab him and he stomps them. Yeah. And he goes boom because they run in and they run into the stomp.
Yeah,
right?
I've been practicing Lord stomping a bit.
So you can go like...
It's hard, but I'm getting it.
Right. I think the cool thing about you practicing Lord stomping is, I think with Falcon, I want you to think about not just your drift on dares, but I think that's going to help your drift on your other aerials as well, like your nair. Like, you know, you get such juicy combo starters for like... I'm trying to back this cannon up. You know, like this kind of opener where you go... You don't... Because like imagine Ganon standing here and I nair past him. Like, it's kind of hard to grab if I hit that kind of nair on him, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't grab him there. Whereas if I do the nair I just showed you, you see that? See how easy that is? It like links perfectly.
Yeah.
That nair. Right?
Yeah.
And so you're like, and this is really good versus Fox because none of those whip punishes he tried to do to you would have worked if you did this nair. I'm not saying do it every time, but you're not actually giving up space because you're coming forward first. See that? This is really annoying to deal with. They have to commit in some way to really. So you can kind of do this with impunity for a little while. And if you call them out, you get a big punish. So, did you have a question on that? Does that make sense to you?
That makes sense. Well, kind of. I mean, like, so Lord stomping. I was talking to Chef Rock, and basically he was like, "Lord stomping's great. We're watching a video of a fox that is approaching all the time with nairs, It's like, oh, you just Lord Stomp those. Only works if they're approaching, right? So I do the Nair in place, and the idea is what? That my opponent's going to approach to whiff punish it?
But it doesn't need to work, right? Like, it's not a dichotomy of you hit him or he hits you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are okay throwing out moves that don't get punished. And like I'm just going on my stream, going back to the gameplay one real quick. Like, if you do this 3 times and you never hit him, 1, it's fine because you didn't get punished. 2, he is now thinking, shit, I need to get into a position where, because like you're basically indirectly pressuring your opponent, because it's a scenario where you can, in a sense, unless they commit and they commit with the right read, it's basically, it's like net positive expected value for you. Either you hit him and you get a big juicy opening, or you're fine, right? Yeah. And a lot of melee, especially a character like Captain Falcon, is kind of hedging in that sense, where 1, you're conditioning them a certain way because you're throwing out moves that are getting them to expect you to do a certain thing. But also with Falcon, like, you know, even the way you asked the question, which was like, I need to approach, right? Like if they don't commit, like I need to move forward, don't I? But it's like, you can do a little bit of both. You don't, it doesn't have to be all in or all out where you're giving up space. You know, there's a lot of, because the cool thing about melee is it's very analog. There's a lot of different ways. You know, you can go a little bit back or you can go a lot back, right? And there's almost always an answer when it comes to like, this isn't working, but then the other answer is this. There's often an in-between. That's kind of the crazy thing about melee is there's often like an in-between answer.
Makes sense.
Throw more of those out. Throw more of those out. I mean, I think the thing that'll help you out in this sort of scenario is like if nothing else, like you never want your opponent to feel like they can just get hits for free. Cause like, it was like this little interaction where it was like 2 aerials in a row that you got punished pretty much back to back. That's where you really want to be throwing those in. But going on, and I know game 2 is going to be a little bit better.
Well, so in those situations, right, like I'm nairing basically right where he is. He dashes back and then jumps in and nairs me. And I feel like in those situations, couldn't I just like totally overshoot and I'd be fine?
You could. Yeah, you could. I mean, the answer is yes. Yeah, but I mean, I still want to encourage you to like mix in some of these kind of, I don't know what to call them, like almost middle drift aerials where you're not fully committing, you're not fully pulling back, but you're kind of in the middle, because they'll make your, when you do choose to commit and you do choose to overapproach, it's going to make that harder to read and harder to space around because he's not going to know where you want to throw your aerials out.
Yeah, I'm definitely pretty predictable.
Right. Yeah. It's all about unpredictability. It's all about unpredictability.
Just that.
Yeah.
But
just
like,
I think you mixing it, like if there's one, I think the big tip right now is mixing those trickier drift aerials. That alone, I think, is going to elevate your gameplay quite a bit. And what I think your homework should be for this week, even before we get to any of the rest of the footage, if you watch, like, I think Wizzy is the best for this because he does it the most. But I mean, all the Falcons are doing it all the time. But if you watch Wizzy and pay attention to how he drifts with his aerials, he does a lot of aerials that don't gain any space, but they don't really give up any either. And if you kind of watch how those interactions play out, I think you'll learn a lot and try to incorporate those yourself.